making worlds. That's basically our goal right now. And I would say that playing a final against G2 would be really nice. I'm not going to dream of beating them just yet. I feel like we're far away from that because G2 is just a phenomenal team right now.
Another game lost.
Do you need help concentrating while CSing or just playing the game? I think I got something for you. Brain effect focus.
I lost again, man.
Dude, I told you it helps you, but it's not a magic potion to get you out of silver. You still need to work on your positioning. And start playing Annie, man. Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, joined here by Joey once again. He's very popular on this channel. Luckily, this time around, you guys can't have an O2 start, so no more bad explanations you have to give me in order to justify various things. What do you make of the first game in the LEC Summer Split?
I mean, I would say it was a pretty good game. It was controlled from the start to finish. I feel like we didn't let Selfmade make any proactive moves, and that was just because we had good map movement and control of the river. So and then we used that properly. We roamed around in the bot side river a lot, killed mid lane a couple of times, and yeah, I was just really happy. We had a good early game and just played it out pretty slow and clean. But I think that's also in the nature of our team composition, where we were having Irelia Sivir very low range against Jarvan, and Azir we were just waiting to get our hands on us. So we just had to play it out very slow and controlled.
Yeah, I got to talk with Selfmade earlier. He was like, oh man, I didn't get to play League of Legends, you know, It sucks. But who did get to play League of Legends was, of course, Broxa. And there's been a lot of, discussion and rumors and all this kind of stuff in the off-season about what's happening with the starting jungle position on the LEC roster of Fnatic. Could you elaborate a bit on that whole situation?
We were unhappy with where we finished in the spring split. I mean, third place as Fnatic, and we got kind of smashed by Origin. I mean, we can blame a little bit on Sona Tarek, but I also think we should have just won those games. But that being in the meta, removed a little bit of League of Legends. But I would say that still we were a weaker team compared to Origin, and that's just not okay. If you're Fnatic and you finish third when you have 4 world finalists, it's just not okay. So we looked at all kinds of things that we could change and that we had resources to improve on. So we made 3 staff changes. We changed our chef, our manager. We brought the analyst on site. We got a new one and brought him on site. So those were 3 staff changes that were really important to us. And then we also looked at our roster and said, okay, how can we empower our roster? We don't want to make any changes just yet, necessarily. I think a lot of players had a lot of issues last split, maybe not necessarily between themselves, but how they fit in the meta, how they played with each other. So it's like, okay, we want to empower the roster. Let's look at our academy team, of course, who is performing. And Dan was the best performing player out of that roster. And he's also a shot caller and leader for the team. So for us, it made sense then, okay, let's bring in Dan. That makes a lot of sense.
Do you understand some of the criticism we saw? For example, Amazing tweeted out something like that, bringing in only one specific role-specific substitute can negatively impact the player that would be questioned in that regard.
Absolutely. That is something that we had to take into consideration when we made a decision, because we know that it feels like we're adding a lot of extra pressure on Broxa alone. And yeah, so I know in that regard it feels unfair to him, but he also knows that we had a stern talking with some other players, like, hey, we're not happy with what you're doing here, there, X and Y. So it's not like Broxa is closer to being replaced or anything than any other player necessarily, or that anyone's being close to being replaced, or it's just, yeah, we had issues as a roster in many different facets, and they were all addressed, but we wanted to empower our roster at the same time. In our academy, we have one really strong performer. Let's bring him in.
So why not go with the Misfits route, for example? We just openly said, hey, we have a 10-man roster, and that's like the team that we're playing in, and we might make swaps everywhere kind of thing.
So first of all, we don't have the space in Berlin to have a 10-man roster, and I think it would be dishonest to tell us, like, yeah, to tell the team, like, yeah, we're going to have a 10-man roster when, yeah, some players are just not challenged right now by the current academy players, although they are great guys. There's a difference between really good in EU Masters and then seeing, like, okay, this guy could actually be ready for the LEC, or like scrim against LEC teams and add something because he's a shot caller for his team.
Right, 100%. So is it fair to say that, it wasn't just due to being unhappy with Broxa, or like Broxa potentially not performing to the level that Fnatic wanted, but it was like you would have had more substitutes if they would have been available to the team?
I would have. Boxer knows that. The players in question know that too.
Okay. That's good to know, because I feel like the community didn't get that one, or they get that part. And
yeah, they think I'm protecting specific players and always had it out for some others and whatnot. Yeah. Well,
No, but like, I mean, to be fair, from an outside perspective, I think it was really good, for example, that Boxer released his statement and that kind of stuff. But there were also of course, like some parts in that paragraphs where you go, okay, that sounds a bit worrying, and like just the face of only bringing in one substitute for one specific role can evoke some ideas into that direction, you know.
Yeah, and I can understand from Boxer that when he was told the news, he wasn't too happy about it. Like, why only my role? That's the first question you have to ask, and that doesn't always feel right. But I also think he understands that when he looks at the academy team, like, yeah, okay, it makes sense that if we're going to bring someone in from the academy, it should be Dan.
Yeah, that's good to know. Now, of course, Fnatic still did so well with the starting roster that we all anticipated and expected. Expectations for Fnatic? What's the minimum goal?
Making Worlds. That's basically our goal right now. And I would say that playing a final against G2 would be really nice. I'm not going to dream of beating them just yet. I feel like we're far away from that because G2 is just a phenomenal team right now. But making the finals would be a real goal. And then I would say making Worlds would be like a minimum. But for that, we have to also make the finals. So this guys goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, because Origin has more points than you guys right now.
Exactly. So we have to end ahead of them and then meet G2 in the final because I think that one is pretty much locked.
I think we can all pretty much confidently go on that one. One last question about the general strength of the league. When I had to do my pre-spring split predictions, I just looked at all of the teams and I was like, right, okay, 1, 2, 3 seem pretty set for me. 10th seems pretty set to me, but 4th through 9th, there's like a lot of room. You know, any of those teams can actually make playoffs, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. What's your personal take on that situation?
I mean, maybe a little fun story. I was looking at our schedule and I was like, week 1, SK and Misfits, oh, that's pretty hard. Week 2, oh, we play Origin and Shotcaller, that's a hard one. Week 3, G2, now the easy ones are going to come. No, week 4, no, what, every week is hard, what is this? You know, there's no easy week anymore. There's maybe 1 or 2 matches that are a little bit easier, but the rest are all just, you have to fight to the death to get a victory. So, yeah, the teams are really close. Anything between 2 and 8 or 2 and 9, I think, is very open to fluctuate very quickly.
2 to 8 is also very interesting. So, what's your 10th and 9th prediction then?
Excel and Rogue.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I had Rogue in 6th place in my prediction. So.
Yeah, who did you have in 10th and 9th?
So Excel is 10th and SK is 9th in my predictions.
Okay, I will disagree with you, but
I mean,
that's fine, right? That's fine.
At the end of
yeah, I think Rogue has potential to make it further. But I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I've watched that game today. It wasn't very pretty, so.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I was just like, kind of like, okay, realistically, I would put them like 7th. And then I was like, oh, come on, just go on the hype train and then just put them 6th. That was kind of like the way it worked for me. But anything you would like to say to the Fnatic fans out there?
I always want to thank the fans for their support. And I guess we can congratulate ourselves with finally winning in an opening match instead of always starting with a loss. I think we've broken the first curse and now I guess we have to break another curse, and I don't know which one that is. Maybe go 2-0 in the first week.
Maybe break some records, maybe take the first fastest game in EU history.
Yeah, against G2. That would be not going to happen, sorry.
I mean, it's the fans you're talking to, not me.
I will say this. There's a chance we will beat G2.
But just not the fastest game.
But not the fastest game.
Okay. And I think that's honestly, given the fact that they are technically the best team in the world right now, I think that's a very honorable goal. Still, a hashtag for the people that watch until the end.
Hashtag opening victory, opening match victory.
Opening victory is pretty good.
Oh, even better. Hashtag no remake. Because, yeah.
Hashtag no remake. Very nice. Thank you so much, Youngbuck, for your time. Welcome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. This was Serious from the Shotcaller. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnowicz, Thomas Göttel, Etienne, Erich Althaus, Lukas Legal, Lazy Raven, Lama Vyuta, and Adam Novosviat for your very special support, and of course also all the people whose names you see scrolling past you. Without you guys, we would have closed down probably a while ago. So thank you so much for your help. Thank you.